"I always knew I could sing," Bruno Mars once admitted, "but there was so much more I had to learn." Those words capture the journey of a man who transformed raw talent into superstardom. From electrifying live shows to chart-topping hits, Bruno Mars has become more than a performer, he's a phenomenon. His magnetic energy, soulful voice, and gift for crafting music that speaks to millions have not only made him one of the greatest entertainers of his generation but a true global icon. This is the untold story of how Bruno Mars rose from humble beginnings to conquer the world stage. Bruno Mars stands as one of the most beloved artists of the 21st century, a superstar whose music seemed unstoppable. Yet, at the very height of his fame, he suddenly stepped away, leaving fans stunned, questioning what could drive such a force of nature from the spotlight. In this video, we uncover the truth behind Bruno Mars' mysterious disappearance, exploring the journey that led him to make this life-changing decision. But before unraveling the mystery, we need to look back to the roots of a boy from Honolulu who would rise to conquer the world stage. Born Peter Gene Hernandez on October 8, 1985, in the heart of Hawaii, Bruno's story began with 2 shows a night after school, a young dreamer grinding for a stage that would one day belong entirely to him. Bruno Mars' musical journey began in the vibrant Waikiki neighborhood, where he was born into a family deeply rooted in music and performance. His father, Peter Hernandez, a Puerto Rican percussionist with Jewish roots, and his mother, Bernadette San Pedro Bayo, a Filipino-Spanish hula dancer, first crossed paths on stage. From that moment on, their household was filled with rhythm, melody, and movement, a place where music was more than entertainment, it was a way of life. Growing up in this electric atmosphere, young Bruno was surrounded by the sounds of rock and roll, reggae, hip-hop, and R&B. His father, inspired by legendary wrestler Bruno Sammartino, gave him the stage name Bruno, a name that would soon become synonymous with greatness. Encouraged by his uncle, an Elvis Presley impersonator, Bruno stepped into the spotlight at just 3 years old, discovering a passion for performance that would ignite a legacy. Bruno began singing songs by Presley and Michael Jackson at the age of 4, mesmerizing audiences with his Elvis impersonation while performing 5 nights a week with his family's band, the Love Notes. The stage became his playground, where he refined his skills and cultivated the signature charisma that would later enchant millions. His early years were filled with fame and harsh realities. Bruno's childhood was a whirlwind of musical experiences. He appeared in local Hawaiian media, performed at halftime shows, and even made a cameo in the film Honeymoon in Vegas. At just 6 years old, he took the stage on the Areno Hall show, showcasing his remarkable talent and stage presence that already captivated audiences. However, behind the glitz and glamour, life was not always a fairy tale. At 12, Bruno's world changed dramatically when his parents divorced, dismantling the family band that had been his lifeblood. His father's business failures left them without a steady income and a roof over their heads, forcing them to move to the slums of Hawaii. They struggled to make ends meet, often living in their car, on rooftops, or in an abandoned bird zoo. This tumultuous period left a lasting impression on Bruno's childhood, shaping his resilience and determination. Despite the challenges, Bruno's love for music never wavered. He persevered through school, eventually finding acceptance after facing initial bullying. His early years impersonating Elvis Presley significantly influenced his musical development and stage presence, helping to shape his confident persona and captivating stage manner. The experiences of his childhood, both positive and challenging, molded him into the artist he is today. He developed a profound love for music and a strong resolve to face challenges. As Bruno grew older, he found inspiration in new musical icons like Jimi Hendrix, whose exceptional guitar skills motivated him to learn the instrument himself. His musical journey in Hawaii, immersed in his family's love for music, helped shape his identity as a performer. He frequently reminisced about the pivotal moments he experienced while playing with his father's band, emphasizing how music was a vital aspect of his life. During this time, his musical tastes broadened, drawing influences from rock, funk, R&B, and pop, which ultimately crafted the distinctive sound that would define him later on. Throughout his high school years, Bruno made significant strides in the Hawaiian entertainment industry, landing performances as an opening act for a prominent magic show and even impersonating Michael Jackson in a celebrity impersonator event. His talent was unmistakable, and when his sister, who lived in Los Angeles, shared his demo with Mike Lynn, the head of A&R at Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment, Lynn was captivated and invited Bruno to Los Angeles to chase his dreams, paving the way for a new chapter in his life. The journey in Los Angeles brought its own set of challenges and collaborations. In 2003, just after graduating high school, Bruno took the leap into his music career by relocating to Los Angeles, a place that starkly contrasted with his Hawaiian roots, marked by poverty and an urban environment. He adopted the stage name Bruno Mars, merging his childhood nickname with Mars to encapsulate his charisma and stage presence. This name change also had a strategic angle, allowing him to distance himself from the stereotypes often linked to Latin artists. Bruno swiftly secured a record deal with Motown Records, but it did not result in the breakthrough he was hoping for. Although he encountered difficulties with Will Do I Do AM's management team, his stay in town turned out to be a worthwhile educational opportunity that brought him into contact with Philip Lawrence, who would later become his songwriting partner and collaborator. A major turning point in Bruno's career would be marked by their shared musical enthusiasm and will to achieve. Despite the obstacles, Bruno persisted and inked a music publishing deal with producers Steve Lindsay and Cameron Stringat. Westside Indie Bruno, Brody Brown, and Jeff Busker studied the nuances of writing popular pop songs under Lindsay's tutelage. They discovered that musical prowess and natural aptitude weren't enough, and it was a time of intensive learning, where they broke down popular songs and examined the factors that contributed to their popularity, improving their songwriting skills and comprehending the needs of the music business. Because Lindsay saw Bruno's promise, he studied diligently for 5 years. This intense period of learning and development was essential in forming their musical journey as they honed their songwriting skills and performed cover songs with a band called Sex Panther, which included Busker and his brother Eric Hernandez. Later on, he joined the Hooligans as their drummer. These experiences, both on and off stage, strengthened their relationship as musicians and team players, setting the groundwork for their future success, which included Groove the Smeezingtons and chart-topping achievement. Bruno's career took a significant turn when he teamed up with Philip Lawrence to write songs. Despite receiving a lot of rejections from record labels, their persistence paid off when Lawrence connected Bruno to Aaron Bay Shook, who would later become his A&R manager. Bruno's musical talent pleased Shook at Atlantic Records, who wanted to sign him but believed he needed more time to grow as a musician despite the wait. Lawrence and Bruno kept up their relentless efforts to compose and produce music for other. When Brandon Creed, who was searching for music for a reformed Mudo, found their track Lost, their efforts paid off. Although they were first hesitant to sell it, they agreed for a hefty price, giving them the money they needed to continue producing this experience. A small setback at the moment would turn out to be a driving force behind their success, providing them with the means and self-assurance to carry on with their journey before becoming independent celebrities. Bruno was already well known as a gifted music producer who collaborated with musicians such as Shaw Kingston, Adam Levine, and Alexander Burke. His first significant hit was Right Round, a 2009 single that he co-wrote with Philip Lawrence. This breakthrough demonstrated his ability to write hit songs and cemented his status as a powerful figure. A major player in the music industry, Bruno Mars's ascent to fame takes center stage. Bruno's popularity continued when his breakthrough solo singles, Billionaire, and Nothing on You, were released, both of which were produced by Philip Lawrence. The Smeezingtons It's Best If You Don't Comprehend These Songs since they surged to the top of the charts, launching Bruno into the spotlight with his debut extended play. Published in 2010 cemented his status as a rising artist, winning over audiences all over the world with his distinct fusion of charisma and music, but fame also brought with it a set of difficulties. In September 2010, Bruno was arrested for cocaine possession in Las Vegas, which followed a performance and put him at the center of controversy when drugs were found in his hands, he acknowledged that he had made a stupid error and blamed his behavior on being drunk. After giving the matter some thought, Bruno apologized for his poor decision and acknowledged that he needed to put his health and wellness first. This arrest was a dark A period in his life didn't stop Bruno from continuing on his path. With his succeeding albums, Dupes and Hooligans and Unorthodox Jukebox, he became a worldwide phenomenon and rose through the ranks of the music industry. Bruno Mars' contagious vitality and indisputable musical talent has left a legacy that appeals to viewers everywhere. His rise from modest origins in Hawaii to the international scene is evidence of his ardor, tenacity, and unshakable commitment to music. He has triumphed over hardship and accepted it. Obstacles and became a genuine icon with a lasting legacy. The musical Bruno Mars maestro has made a lasting impression on the music industry, and while his sudden exit from the public eye is still unknown, his influence is. His artistry is indisputable. His songs have become anthems, his performances have become legendary, and his effect on modern music is evident in this video. His music and compelling stage presence will continue to inspire and amuse audiences for years to come. But more than just the reason for his absence, it also demonstrates his lasting legacy as a global icon who revolutionized a generation's sound. His music will never stop inspiring, and his trip serves as a reminder that everyone, even though the most successful stories have unexpected turns and untold chapters, one thing is for sure: Bruno Mars has made a lasting impression on the music industry, and his legacy will endure for years to come. Early legal issues and the start of a young Bruno Mars, who was on the verge of becoming famous, faced a major legal obstacle in 2010 when he was caught for possessing cocaine. He faced the prospect of facing felony charges, but he successfully negotiated the court system and obtained in exchange for avoiding jail time, he entered into a plea agreement that required him to perform community service and take drug education seminars. By 2012, the charges were formally dropped, allowing him to focus entirely on his musical career. Aspirations during this time, a significant tipping point. 2010 saw the publication of Mars' first album, Doo-Wops and Hooligans, which highlighted his sultry vocals, catchy melodies, and ability to merge genres. The album's hit singles, such as Nothing on You and Simply There. Mars became a major player in the music industry when he shot to the top of the Billboard 200 chart. His distinctive fusion of pop, R&B, and funk struck a chord with listeners all over the world, securing his status as a rising star. The first copyright suit and the unconventional jukebox's triumph. However, Mars's early achievements did not spare him from controversy. In 2014, he was at the focus of his first significant copyright infringement lawsuit, in which Demetrius Ors Proctor claimed to be the Mars was accused of flagrant copyright infringement by the owner of the music and lyrics to the popular song, Billionaire, which featured rapper Troy McCoy. A year prior to the publication of Billionaire Proctor's book, the lawsuit claimed that Proctor had registered a collection of recordings labeled Frisky Volume 1-30 in March 2011. He claimed the only right to reproduce and distribute the song, and the charges were severe, calling for the destruction of all copies and attempting to stop any illegal downloads or physical copies that were still in use. And McCoy of using his work illegally without authorization. The lawsuit, however, was eventually unsuccessful. The court granted TRVY McCoy's motion to dismiss the file, citing improper service and personal jurisdiction. Additionally, the court emphasized Proctor's failure to specify. He claimed that the copyrighted content was copied, making the litigation against the defendants unfair. Even while this legal dispute, in December 2012, Mars released his second studio album, Unorthodox Jukebox, demonstrating his sustained success. With a more mature and reflective approach to composition, the album signified a notable shift in his musical style. Unorthodox Jukebox sold over 192,000 copies in its first week at number 2 on the Billboard 200 list before quickly rising to the top, reaching number 1 in a number of nations, including the UK, Canada, Australia, and Switzerland. Mars' status as one of the biggest pop performers of the 2010s was cemented by the album's commercial success, which saw it sell over 6 million copies worldwide thanks to hits like Out of Heaven. Locked widespread critical acclaim for When I Was Your Man and Treasure. Unorthodox Jukebox demonstrated Mars' flexibility as a songwriter and his capacity to produce songs that connected with listeners around the world. The complexity of music and the Uptown Funk dispute inspiration in spite of Unorthodox Jukebox's success. Accusations of copyright infringement continued to plague Mars' career, and the issue surrounding the huge hit song Uptown Funk, which was released 2 years prior, overshadowed his 2016 album 24K Magic. Prior to being accused of plagiarism, the song, which was a duet with Mar Grandson, was a worldwide sensation that peaked at number 1 in many countries and won multiple awards, including the Grammy for Record of the Year. Several musicians accused Uptown Funk of substantially referencing their own work. The Gap Band members made the most notable complaint, claiming that the song was eerily similar to their 1979 smash song, Ops Upside Your Head, which resulted in a court battle. Struggle, and the Gap Band was eventually given credit for co-writing Uptown Funk, which resulted in their collecting 177% of the publication income. In addition to the Gap Band's claims, other musicians made accusations of their own. Victoria, a Serbian singer, claimed that the song was a copy of her tune, despite the fact that she decided against taking legal action. In addition, the electrophone band Culture filed a lawsuit in 2016 claiming that Uptown Funk was similar to their song, Young Girl, while the Sequence claimed that it violated their 2017 song, Funk You Up. While some cases were finally dropped, Strata Entertainment joined the fray, pointing apparent similarities between Uptown Funk and Zapp's popular song, More Bounce to the Outs. The ongoing battle brought attention to the complicated question of copyright and creativity in the music industry. The Uptown Funk controversy sparked debates about the nature of musical inspiration and the fine line between infringement and homage. Critics contended that although 24K Magic and Uptown Funk both drew substantially from the funk genre, they also sparked discussions on who owns musical styles and how historical performers have influenced modern music. Critics accused Mars of taking use of black musical traditions without giving due credit, which generated a contentious discussion on cultural appropriation or admiration for the musicians that created these sounds. Some claim that Mars' strategy brought attention to the difficulties of cultural appropriation in the music business and that he was unjustly chastised for taking inspiration from black musicians. However, some said that his music was unoriginal and only rehashed old styles, lacking the true innovation and respect for the original material that would have given him the fame he deserved. Swift denied the Uptown The funk controversy wasn't the only storm that threatened to ruin Mars' career in early 2021. There were also accusations that he had a large gambling debt, with reports indicating that he owed almost $50 million to MGM Resorts International. These claims, which claimed that Mars was utilizing a sizable amount of his profits from his Las Vegas residency to repay this purported debt due to substantial losses at their casinos, fueled curiosity about the severity of his gambling issue and its possible effects on his financial stability. Because of his gambling tendencies, there were allegations that Mars was practically controlled by MGM. This implied that the star was having trouble handling his money and might be giving in to the temptations of the gambling world. However, Resorts swiftly released a statement in which they categorically denied the accusations, calling them wholly untrue. The statement highlighted the company's long-standing, respectful relationship with Mars and celebrated his achievements as a performer at various venues, including the Park MGM. MGM adamantly declared that the timing of the gambling was not accurate, and they took delight in their collaboration with the artist. Deb's accusations were especially startling considering Mars' prosperous career and reputedly high income of $90 million annually. MGM's adamant denial was intended to put an end to any rumors regarding the singer's financial situation, but the juxtaposition between his financial success and the allegations of debilitating debt added a depth of intrigue to the story as it developed. In 2023, the Grammys reject a surprising partnership and a purposeful quiet from Mars' end. After playing as Silk Sonic, Anderson .Dopak made the unexpected choice to not submit their CD, An Evening with Silk Sonic, for consideration at the Grammy Awards. The pair's great year, which featured 4 Grammy Awards, and 2022, which saw them win Record of the Year and Song of the Year for Leave the Door Open, generated a lot of rumors. Mars gave an explanation for their choice, claiming that they had already accomplished their objective with the He stated that he wanted to honor other people's music and gracefully withdraw from the competitive Grammy submission process after the success of Leave the Door Open and after taking into account all the other icing on the cake. However, some viewed this as a calculated move to prevent possibly rekindling Ales's previous accusations about the originality of his songs, which had overshadowed his previous albums. Others regarded it as a humble gesture of appreciation for the popularity they'd already obtained. In August 2024, Mars surprised enthusiasts with a collaboration with woman Gaga liberating the unmarried Die with a Smile. This marked the first new music from both artists after a long absence from the limelight and was properly obtained by way of fans. The release became teased through cryptic social media posts, with each artist sharing pics of themselves sporting each different products, developing excitement amongst their fans. The tune features a heartfelt topic exploring love and connection inside the face of uncertainty, leaving many to marvel if it served as a coded message to critics. Mastering the art of public photograph control amidst the storm of arrests, copyright disputes and playing allegations. Bruno Mars has emerged as a savvy artist who has mastered the art of coping with his public photo. While many artists frequently rush to guard themselves publicly at some point of controversies every now and then complicating their conditions, Mars has chosen an exceptional method for the duration of his moments of turmoil. He has taken a spoil from the limelight, maintained his silence and re-emerged with hit songs demonstrating a strategic know-how of his brand and artistry. This calculated silence coupled with his steady delivery of chart-topping tune has allowed Mars to navigate controversies with a degree of grace and strategic precision. He has learned to use silence as an effective tool, refusing to interact in public battles that might doubtlessly damage his carefully cultivated picture. At the same time as Bruno Mars' legacy will continue to be shaped with the aid of each his musical fulfillment and the debate surrounding his career, it's clear that he stays a powerful force inside the tune enterprise. His talent and strategic technique to navigating public opinion have allowed him to face up to scrutiny and stay one of the maximum a success pop stars of our time. Consider to drop a remark beneath. Provide this video a thumbs up and subscribe for greater. See you within the next one.